The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez. Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. And the Bugman, we get them before they get you. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi, this is Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We're here at Parkview Baptist High School. We're in one of the coaches' office room, actually the AD, Danny Smith, who I've known since his days at Leesville High School when he coached Cecil Collins. Danny's going to join us too. Stefan is going to join us, the head coach here. I think we're going to get the soccer coach to join us. One of the top soccer players in the country is going to join us. Abram Johnston, the quarterback who's on fire this year, and Wesley Marien, who is a big-time sleeper linebacker. They're both seniors. We're going to interview him as well. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our show for free. Catch other shows. In the future, we got Lutcher High School, which is probably going to be shown before you see this. We've got several Shreveport shows we still have to show, some Baton Rouge shows that we taped back in August. We also have some more shows that we still didn't show from our New Orleans trip to Destrehan. But today we're at Parkview Baptist. I want to thank a major sponsor today that's helping me sponsor all of this. Total Car Care on Coursey Boulevard, owned by Billy Hebert. Be sure to go check them out. Support them if you're thinking of getting a tire. They do a lot of other work there, but Total Car Care on Coursey Boulevard, 13950. Billy Hebert is a veteran. He's a great guy. He's a friend of mine, and we appreciate their support. Give them a call and go by on Coursey Boulevard, not far from Parkview Baptist, maybe a couple of miles. I want to go ahead and introduce our first guest. We're not in any order today. They're all getting ready for school, and we've got our first guest, Wesley Marien. Wesley, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You're a senior linebacker, class of 224. You came onto the scene last year. You played a lot, and now this year you filled out 210.
Yes, sir.
6'2", and you look like a linebacker.
Thank you.
Saw you play recently, very recently. I was very impressed with your speed, your instincts, and your effort. You're not scared to hit people.
No, sir.
Where do you get that? Was your dad a former player? You said your dad's from Alexandria?
Yes, sir.
And he went to what high school?
Ash, Alexandria Senior High.
He's got it down pat. He's like one of the locals over there, Ash, the Trojans.
Yes, sir.
Was your dad a good football player back in the day?
Yes, sir, he was. He was multi-time all-district, had some opportunities to play in college, but just chose to go to college and just...
Not bad, go to college.
Yeah.
What do you want to do when you're done? Because we're already halfway, the show might show in a couple of weeks, but we're probably going to be 7 weeks in by the time the show plays, but we only have about 5, maybe 8, 9 weeks if y'all go all the way. But any plans if, I think we talked about this, who's your favorite colleges?
My favorite colleges, LSU, Southeastern, UL, just kind of the colleges in the surrounding area.
Would you go out of state, or is there a limit on distance?
Yes, sir, I would go out of state. I think that if, the program wanted me and, I felt like it was a good program and somewhere that I wanted to be a part of, then I would definitely make the move out of state.
Got a great coaching staff, Danny Smith, Coach Cecil Collins, as you know, at Leesville, even though he was before your time, I'm sure you know about that.
Yes, sir, I know.
Stefan, who played for the Carolina Panthers, your head coach, and y'all got a good staff at Parkview. A lot of tradition here, huh, Wesley?
Yes, sir.
What is it like putting on the blue jersey and the red Parkview, the Eagles? And a lot of these kids here are raised together, or some start in kindergarten. Huh?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So what's that like to play at Parkview Baptist?
I've been here all my life, and so I've known most of these kids for, growing up, and it's really special to be able to play for the Eagles and play alongside kids that you've known for your entire life, and the Parkview comes with a lot of pride, and and it's just it's a great feeling to just be able to strap it up for the Eagles.
Jersey number 2, if you've seen play this year, they're 4-1 on the season, pretty good record. Big win over Madison Prep early in the year. That's a big win.
Yes, sir.
I think we want to talk about that with Abram later, that 19-play drive they had. Mm-hmm. Were you watching that when you were on the sidelines?
Yes,
since
sir.
you're defense, what are you thinking?
Well, I knew that, Abram and the offense had played well all game, and so I knew they were going to punch it in, and then I was just wondering whether we were going to go for 2 or not. That was my question. But,
Might see them in the playoffs again.
Yeah. Maybe
That's crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a neutral field this time.
Maybe so.
But Wesley, Marien, number 2, Jersey 2, 6'2", 210 pounds, class of 224. And before we go, tell everybody what you might want to major in college.
Construction management.
Good field. I know a lot of people doing well in that. Good luck to you,
sir.
Wesley.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back. And pretty soon we're going to have Abram Johnston, the quarterback, join us. One of the hot prospects in the state as a quarterback, also a senior. We'll be right back.
Supreme Chevrolet. Expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez.
Welcome back. Lieber Keene with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We're at Parkview Baptist today. We're in one of their coaching rooms. Danny Smith actually has his office in here, the AD. We're going to have Danny come on later. He coached Cecil Collins at Leesville High School and had a great coaching career. He's helping here at AD and helping with the staff here with Stefan. And they got a quarterback here that's had an amazing year so far. I think he's the sleeper quarterback in the state of Louisiana. Last year, really had some great games and a competitor. His family is super big-time athletic. His mom, Shelly Ripple, All-American swimmer at Stanford, in the Hall of Fame at Stanford. His sisters are phenomenal soccer players. Hopefully we're going to get one on later today. His grandfather, Steve Ripple, went to Terra and was a captain at LSU in 1977. And I think he went to Jesuit High School. Mm-hmm. But Abram, good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I've watched you a few games. Started seeing you play your junior year. Your sophomore year, coach was bragging about you. You had an injury, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's all coming together for you and your team this year. Y'all had a good run last year too. 4-1's pretty good right now, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The show might play when y'all might be 6-1, but
hopefully.
Yeah, but what do you think about the family? And how often are you asked about that? Because your mom was All-American swimmer, one of the best swimmers ever, Hall of Fame at Stanford. Your grandfather, Steve, was well thought of to this day at LSU. What is it like to grow up in such an athletic family?
Yes, sir. I mean, just kind of fun. We're all pretty close with all my cousins and stuff. So just competitive with kind of everything we do. Talk about sports. Teach a lot of lessons about a lot of stuff. But yeah, a lot of places I go, people kind of know the family and know that there's sports and stuff, which is pretty cool.
You want to brag about your 2 sisters in soccer?
Yeah, Faith and Ella Kate, my 2 younger sisters, a junior and a freshman, are pretty good in soccer. They've grown up playing it, but they play together on their high school team. And Faith was Gatorade Player of the Year for Louisiana, and Ella Kate kind of assists Faith in almost all of her goals. They play well together and pretty good players.
Your older sister pretty good too, with A&M and LSU.
That's my aunt.
Your aunt, yeah. I'm getting so confused with everybody in the family.
But yeah, she was pretty good at soccer too. Played at LSU and then transferred to A&M. Yes, sir.
You compete. I love your effort on the field and your arm. You got a cannon arm, but you don't like to lose, and I love that in a player. You can. I just feel it in body language. When the ball's in your hand, if someone's flushing you out, you're looking for another receiver and read.
Yes, sir.
And you're making things happen, and that's impressive. And you remind me a little bit of your coach, because I saw Stefan play at Christian Life back in the day, and he was like that. He was a competitor, and then obviously you remember the story. Goes to Louisville, 4th all time in passing yards, All-American, 4th round pick of the Carolina Panthers, and you're very similar built to your coach, 6 foot, 200, 195. What do you think you need to work on right now?
Just certain times I need to kind of put touch on the ball, arc and pace, whereas from throwing it hard or throwing it too soft, but kind of just taking my game to the next level in terms of that, and And then also just, I mean, being smart as the game goes, not turning the ball over at all, and, you know, some basic stuff.
Can you swim?
Yes, sir.
I would think so, right? I mean, where do you rank in the swim category with your mom and everyone in the family?
So my youngest sister, she's in 6th grade. She's the stud swimmer. She's kind of like my mom, but other than that, I'd say I'm second best out of the children in the family. I feel like I'm not too bad.
Okay. Stanford, your mom's in the Hall of Fame. What do you think of Stanford and in football?
I mean, really cool. I mean, I guess swimming doesn't really relate to football, but just like her connection at Stanford and the stuff she's been able to do throughout swimming is pretty cool to see.
Would you like to go to Stanford if they were to offer you somehow?
Yeah, I would definitely consider that.
I got a quick story before. I might go over a little bit, Jay, on the interview here, maybe a minute, but Drew Dillio, when Drew was here, fame, great athlete, one of the best ever here, I did his highlight tape, and we sent it out to Tulane and Stanford and every school in the country. Stanford offered him, and he had no 1AA offers. Like Nicholls State and them didn't even offer him, and Stanford, Coach Anderson offered him, like, okay, and I was thinking that was going to be the best one. Yeah. Well, 2 weeks later, Michigan offers him. So he becomes Big Blue. He starts for 4 years for Michigan. From Parkview Baptist, Drew's probably 5'8", 5'9", but electric.
Yep.
And so it's never too late, is my point,
yes, sir,
to get an offer from a Stanford. You know, early doesn't mean anything anymore, but recruiting. You can hear everybody coming through the locker room. I guess that we're getting close to being the bell and everything. What are you going to major in college?
I think I'm going to go into pre-med, yes, sir.
Okay. Want to be a doctor? What kind of doctor?
I think I want to be a dentist.
Okay.
So,
who's a dentist in the family?
my grandfather.
Your grandfather's a dentist.
Smile Stars. He works there.
What do you think? What is it like to go to Parkview Baptist and your family's? A lot of your family, your mom has went to Parkview, but the tradition here, the late Kenny Guillotte, the state championships, keeping that tradition going. How important is it to try and get the team to a state championship game again?
Big. I mean, football is always a big thing at Parkview, so just like the tradition and the weight that carries, and kind of just being on the Parkview football team is a big deal around school. So, I mean, it's really cool. A lot of great fans that come to the games and stuff. I mean, it's just a cool environment to play football at Parkview.
And you gave up baseball to concentrate on football, right?
I gave up soccer.
Soccer,
pretty much,
okay.
Yes, sir.
That's good, man. And you definitely want to play college ball.
Yes, sir.
If you had your dream school or dream schools, who would those two be if it was up to you?
I've always thought Tulane was pretty cool, in-state, a smart school, and then I mean, stuff like something like Stanford or something would be really cool.
Great academic school.
Yep.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Abram Johnston, quarterback, senior, class of 224, Parkview Baptist High School. He's on fire this year. We didn't even talk about his stats. Me and Coach will do that later in the show, but having a great year. I think he's D1. I'm going to go ahead and endorse that now. And, you know, I mean, I saw this with his head coach, Stefan, when he was at Christian Life. No offers. Stefan walked on at Louisville and ended up being one of the best quarterbacks ever at Louisville College. We'll be right back.
Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Be sure to hit the free subscribe button so you can help us grow. And, you know, every week we try to go to a different school. It's good to be in Baton Rouge. This is where I'm from, but I've been in Lutcher. We've been to Destrehan. We've been to Acadiana. We're going to be going to Monroe pretty soon. I've been to Shreveport, Bossier City, Coach. Danny Smith.
Welcome again.
42 years.
Yes, sir.
In the business.
In the business, correct. It seems like yesterday. It's flown by, Lee. It really has.
Let me introduce Danny if you're not from Parkview Baptist. And if you're not from Leesville and you're not from Pickering. But Coach has coached 42 years. He coached Cecil Collins at Leesville High School. He's from Brookhaven, Mississippi. Went to McNeese State.
Right.
You're a Cowboy grad.
Yep.
Track and field, I heard, coached a little bit here. Track and field.
I've coached track here.
DB's coach now.
DB's coach now. That was something that when I accepted the AD job, I wanted to continue coaching, and that's been able to work out.
Let me go through this long resume. I can't talk about every high school, but his coach has been Leesville 91 to 98, the Wampus Cats, DeRitter 99 to 2000, Santa Maula 2006 to 2008, Pickering which is by DeRitter, 2016. He was around and coached these guys, Kevin Mawai, Canton, Ohio Hall of Fame offensive lineman, LSU. Eddie Fuller, I consider Eddie a friend, a current referee.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy, 4 Super Bowl rings.
Right.
Well, they didn't win them, but he went to 4. With the Bills, Cecil Collins, Ray Smoot.
Raymond Smoot.
Me and Coach remembers that name.
Right.
Great everything O-lineman with the LSU, the Chargers. Kavita Pittman, who was a great player. Oscar Joyner.
Right.
I mean, I keep going on and on.
Yeah.
But
Keith Smith played defensive back for us, went to McNeese, went on to the league, played with the Lions. Yeah.
1995 is when I met Coach.
Right.
And I called Coach, and you were going to the state championship game.
Right, against Salmon that year.
In 4A. And that's when you had Cecil, 13-2 record, Coach.
Right.
Boy, it was tough back then.
Well,
not that it's not now.
Right. Well, our district during that period, we went in 95. I thought we were one of the toughest 4A districts with Leesville, DeRitter, Crowley, Eunice, Washington, Marien, Sam Houston. But from 95 to about 99, we had Leesville in 95. Then you had Eunice that went to the Dome. Crowley went to the Dome. Sam Houston went to the semis in that area. We had some real good football in Southwest Louisiana.
And Louis Cook was at Crowley.
Louis was at Crowley, right, in 89, right. And then he came back after a stint at ULL as offensive coordinator. So
how you liking Baton Rouge?
I love it. You know, came here in 01 to 05 at Parkview. Then, like you said, I went to Santa Ma as defensive coordinator. Both my daughters graduated from Santa Ma. They were here. My wife and I went back to the West Central Louisiana. And my daughter gets married, and then she calls and said she's pregnant, and Mama wants to come back this way. And so Guy hired me at Dutchtown for a year. Then Coach got the job and came here to Parkview, and I love this place. It's very special to me.
Stefan, you know, being a Carolina Panthers quarterback, I watched him coach in high school at Christian Life. I remember when he was 160 pounds, 6 foot. He was a player.
Oh.
Walked on at Louisville, made All-American, 4th round pick of the Carolina Panthers.
Well,
quarterback Abram Johnston. Don't you see a lot of Abram in, Coach Stefan?
Yeah, there's you know, speaking of Coach, the first year back here, I'm in the secondary and we're running scale, and Coach goes out of the receiver, and I'm like, okay, Coach, be careful. And look, the next thing I know, he can still move. I mean, he may be older, but he can still run, you know. And but no, Abram has really, you know, a lot of the traits, you know, the run ability, being able to read defenses, and just Abram's having a heck of a year for us right now, you know, and he and Coach spend a lot of time one-on-one on the field, off the field, looking at film and so forth, and you can see that that's paying off for him.
I want to go over about a minute on this, Jay, with Coach, but you coached one of the greatest running backs ever. There was Kevin Falk, in my opinion, Anthony A. Tran Thomas at Winfield. There was a few that I've seen, but the Diesel was incredible. I want to promote Jacques Doucette's piece that's going to come up on Channel 9. I want to help him. Right,
October 15th, Jacques' been working on this for 2 years. And when he called me and told me about it, I want to keep it, you know, positive but real. Yeah, and the thing is, you know, everybody knows the past. They know what happened, you know. But, you know, I think this piece is really going to be special in a lot of ways, and really, you know, I've said this in life. In the end, it's where we end up that's most important. And I made the comment in this piece, yes, he may not be in the Hall of Fame of college football. He may not be in the Hall of Fame of the NFL. He may not be in the Hall of Fame of high school football, but he will be in the Hall of Fame of life. Yeah. Not from where he started, but where he's ended up. And I think that's the most important thing.
Just to tease it, he has a family now in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
And he's doing really well.
Oh, he's an electrician. He's got a great wife, got a son and 2 daughters, you know, and he and I stay in contact with each other, and trying to get him to come down for the Auburn game and spend the night and stay Sunday so that he and I could sit down and watch the piece together.
That'd be good.
I think that'd be pretty special.
Before we go, Coach, I want to mention Kevin Mawai, who I got a chance to meet when he was at Leesville.
Oh, yeah.
240, 6'5", and ended up being all pro 13 times or how many times it was. But Kevin is now a high school coach in Nashville. When are y'all going to schedule Kevin? Y'all going to get a little game going?
Well,
maybe?
that I don't know. But I mean, I'm proud of Kevin. I mean, he and I, again, that family and I have a tradition. You know, I hired his brother John, you know, out of college. I coached all of them at Leesville. And Kevin's done well. And you know, again, not just a great football player, but a great man of character and a great man of God. And I mean, he's going to do well where he's at.
And I talked to Kevin when he was at Arizona State. And he had called me about an offensive lineman at Edna Carr at the time. He's like, "Can he play?" And I'm like, "Well, this guy too." And and all of a sudden, you know Kevin. He's emotional in the right way, and loves LSU still. But when I saw him take that high school job, I'm like, "There you go," because you could tell he's super happy coaching high school football. Oh yeah, I've seen some on Facebook, some interviews and stuff, and you can tell. I mean, you know, his passion for the game, but his passion for young people, and he's in a position that he can truly make a difference and utilize the gifts that he's been given. You know, what do you like most about your 42 years coaching the game of sports, mentoring young people? Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing is because I'm asked often, why do you still do this? My wife even asks. She'll say, "Why are you still doing this?" And it's to mentor and it's to make a difference on a day-to-day basis, because they keep me young at heart. Because there's some mornings, Lee, I wake up and the puppies are hurting, you know. You know. But again, it's kind of like it's not a job, it's a calling. You know, and that's what helps me to keep things in perspective. Nothing like it. Oh no. Keep supporting football and basketball, baseball, track, girls soccer. I mean, everything. High school athletics to me is one of the greatest tools that's given to us in the education profession to really teach the intangibles of life. Because when you get knocked down, how do you persevere? You know, how do you overcome things in life? Because it's all of us in this room have faced those type of things. So I think athletics helps you to teach that, because you can be on the mountaintop in one breath, but then the next breath you can be at the bottom of the hill, you know. So life is like that. In athletics, I think allows us to teach that, and that's what I try to tell these young guys. It's so important to build relationships with your athletes, because you may be standing in the Walmart line like I was a few years ago, and I hear behind me, that was my high school coach. I turn around, it's a former kid that I coached and I taught, you know. So you just never know, and that's, you know, for most of us that have been in athletics, the impact of coaches, both in a positive and a negative way, can influence us. Well, any moms watching that are scared for their kids getting hurt, when I was in high school, and I've had a few jobs prior to owning this company for 27 years, but football taught me everything with life. I go back to my two-a-days, I go back to spring and fall, summer, football, track and field when I ran. Track and field at Central High School. My dad was a coach growing up. That made me tough. It made me get ready for life. And failure, like I said, get beat down and you get back up, and the camaraderie of having teammates and you're all in it together. You know, like you said, over 42 years, and I hear a lot of people use the phrase, well, old school. Well, old school's not bad. Kim Mulkey, she's doing pretty well. Pretty good. Kelly's doing pretty well. Nick Saban's doing pretty well. And these young coaches that can learn from these and just the discipline that's needed to instill in these guys and these young ladies is so important, you know. So it's I think that's part of our legacy of old timers is to, again, to continue to lay the foundation for those to come behind us, because the world's not getting easier for these young people. There's so much out here, the distractions and things that can just lead them, and trying to help them to make good decisions and choices in life. I think athletics, especially in high school, can do that. We're going to get Coach Stefan on with us before we end the show. We've got some great players still about Tanner Jenkins, Law Hitt, Derry Beckwith, Drew Dillio. We can go on and on and on of all the players and baseball players that have come out of the school and sports in general. Parkview Baptist has great history, state championships in all sports. Danny, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lee. Danny Smith, man. Coach Smith still with us. Thank you, Coach. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Hi, everyone. Lee Burkeen, the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We're back at Parkview Baptist. Appreciate Coach Stefan letting us use the coach's office here, one of them. We brought our little set in, but a lot of their stuff. They also have a new scoreboard I really like. I went to the game last week. I won't date it because we might not show this for a couple of weeks, but a lot of good things going on. Parkview Baptist has 5 state championships in football. I want to go ahead and introduce Coach Stefan. Thank you, man, for being on.
Thanks for having us.
I've had you on a couple of times when we had a audio only show during COVID.
Yep.
You came on Cox, I think, right when you were hired, or right in the beginning, when you came from Kentucky.
Right.
But let me do a little resume to those that don't know you at Parkview. Was hired in 2019 at Parkview Baptist, head coach. 4th round pick of the Carolina Panthers in 2005. Louisville College in 2003, 2004. 4th all-time leading passer, 5,853 yards. I'm trusting that's right on Google, Coach. Christian Life High School, all-state quarterback, CFL, Edmonton and Winnipeg.
Sure.
East-West Shrine Game, senior year, player of the game, MVP. A lot of people, I didn't know
great
that.
memories.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What was, before?
So you had the Senior Bowl, the big one, right? And then the East-West Shrine Bowl was the kind of the second one. But it was a lot of good players there. They had 3 quarterbacks on the East, 3 on the West. I was on the East. Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the East with me.
The beard, the big beard.
He didn't have the beard at the time.
Have the beard
but Harvard's finest there. But it was a great experience. Played out in San Francisco and fun game.
You know, it's hard to get all this in because we could talk about Louisville for an hour. We could talk about Christian Life an hour, your pro experience. But out of all the football times, I want to have this for mom and dads that are listening, because mom and dads are so concentrated on kids getting scholarships and they're not recruited quick enough or fast enough. But this is the greatest example because I watched you play in high school. That's how old I am. And you were 165, 170, I remember, quarterback, fast as lightning, underrated arm at Christian Life. You walk on. People forget this, but you went to Louisville, got your scholarship, but the hard way. But you were given an opportunity late, though.
I wasn't a walk-on, but I didn't get an offer until after signing.
Late.
Yeah, it was late.
For parents watching.
Yeah, and it's a totally different time now with recruiting and stuff for sure. But yeah, it's a unique story in that the plan was to walk on at ULL, right? USL at the time, and use some Tops money and that kind of thing. But we kind of sent out VHS tapes of recruiting highlights across the country, from Hawaii to East Carolina and all those kind of mid-majors at the time, everywhere between. And Louisville picked up on it, and really they were looking to help me out to get somewhere else. To some smaller schools on the West Coast even, and because I was willing to go anywhere as long as they gave me a chance. But it wasn't until after signing day that a scholarship opened up, and they sent it my way, so I was gladly.
So if your mom and dad's watching, that still happens today. And Drew Dillio was the same way here. I remember doing Drew's tape way back, and I remember his dad saying, "What do you think?" I was like, "I don't know. We'll just give everybody a copy." And that was DVDs at that time.
Yeah.
And Stanford offered before Nichols. And there's no rhyme or reason, right, Coach?
Yeah. No, that's right.
And then Tulane offered, and then Michigan offered.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Michigan.
Yeah.
5'9", 175.
Right.
But there's. Do you agree though? Parents want the offer early, but it's what happens in the end.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. I mean, timing is everything, right? And you're gonna end up where you need to be, and you just gotta be patient. I mean, but it's easy to get caught up in that world with social media and seeing all the things that other people are getting, and you want to be where they are a lot of times, and really just enjoy high school football, your experience, right?
Yeah.
And that's, people ask me all the time, that was my favorite, was Friday nights. I mean, I got to play luckily on Saturdays and got to taste the pro life, but high school football to me, high school sports, right, is kind of where it's at. I mean,
I remember he was number 1, jersey number 1. I just remember that. Maroon, Christian Life.
That's right.
Coach, I want to be like Speed Rush here because I want to get all these names in. And then go Abram Johnston, your quarterback we had on, Jack Harrington, senior receiver, good punter.
Good punter,
Caden Toretto, running back, great big running back, that can, powerful guy. Cameron Favorite, Brant Melanson, Mason Marie, O-lineman.
Yep.
Noah Wilson, late bloomer, receiver.
Yeah.
Victor Hollins, young, good lineman. Brock Como, good receiver for you.
That's right.
4 touchdowns, I think, so far. Cohen Cormouche, a good old lineman. Wesley Marien, we had on earlier, linebacker, good-looking kid. Caleb, how do you say his last name? Ordon. I want to say Orgeron.
Yeah,
Ordon.
yeah.
Buck Winfrey,
Yeah.
good long-time guy in the program.
That's right.
Jacob Hess, a great free safety for coach. Mason Warren, a really good running back. And Brock Briggs, a late bloomer, big guy.
Yeah.
Am I missing anybody?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of names there. Gavin Higgins, kicker, sophomore. He's got a bright future for sure. But yeah, you mentioned a lot of names there. A lot of guys that are key to our success this year. A lot of seniors in that group. We got 19 seniors on this team this year. Is a big number for us. So they'll be tough to replace. So we don't want to look too far ahead,
right?
Because then you get depressed. But we're in the now. So I mean, these guys are all key contributors to our season thus far. I look forward to them finishing the year up strong for sure.
We're taping the show. The show might not play for a week or two, so I don't want to get caught up in the current record. But you have a great record right now. I'll just say 4-1. That's what we might have to be at 6-1 by the time you see this. But great year, Coach. You do a great job. Your numbers are better than they were when you got the job. I mean, y'all barely had enough starters. I remember your first year or two and gutted it out. Yeah, you've done an incredible job with what you have, and now it's growing back. It looks like it's getting back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, next year, like I said, with the 19 seniors, it'll be interesting to see what we look like. But yeah, I mean, we try to do it the right way. We try to, take care of our kids and upgrade our facilities and do different things to make it fun for our guys to be a part of a special program. And the future looks bright. We got a middle school program, 5th, 6th grade team numbers are good. 7th, 8th grade team numbers are good. So, first and foremost, we want to keep our kids in our program.
Right.
And then you look to do it the right way, and that other kids from outside looking in may want to come be a part of something special and something different. Some of those names you mentioned were kids that maybe didn't play football when they were younger and they joined when they were in high school. Some have joined us from outside. 9th grade year, Victor Hollins is a kid that came over in 8th grade, but kind of noticed what we were doing a little bit different maybe than where he was maybe looking at going. But really glad to have those new kids come and be a part of our program.
And I want to mention your kicker, young kicker, he's a heck of a player.
Yeah. I mean, sophomore. To me, and he's an athlete. He's not your prototypical kicker that
played a receiver for you.
Well, he probably could. He probably could play tight end. He could probably play outside linebacker. He's a heck of a baseball player. He could probably play soccer if he wanted to. He's got a great leg. He's a touchback machine, which is a huge weapon that you don't have to worry about. You got to force opposing offenses to start on the 20, and your kickoff cover team can kind of almost take a break. When it's not in the end zone, they're surprised, and so we got to get on them to cover. But he's a huge weapon for us, and definitely a guy that I can see easily kicking at the next level at a big school and even beyond that.
Well, appreciate you letting us be here today and film and interview your guys, interview other coaches. We still got a soccer coach interview, a baseball coach interview. A lot of good things happening at Parkview
Absolutely.
Baptist.
Yeah, it's a great place. Academics, the spiritual component of it. I mean, kids can come here and really thrive on the field, off the field. Be involved in different sports if they want. We got girls on the basketball team that also play soccer for Coach Raffi, and they're state champions in both.
Right.
There were countless times where you see a girl run in right off the field from a soccer game, go change and put on her basketball uniform and go play basketball. So that kind of thing, when you see that here at Parkview, it just makes it that much more of a special place.
I want to say this before we go. I asked you earlier, you were going to think of some guys. I said, Coach, tell me the toughest defensive players you ever played against, from Christian Life to Louisville to the NFL. Who would be a couple of people that?
Well, in high school, I think back. So we had to all play both ways in high school, right? So as an offensive player, right, obviously running away from linebackers and defensive ends and all that kind of stuff was always a challenge. But I do remember Hook Finn at Kentwood. Going against him a couple times. As a corner, obviously, he was very, very good. And then having to play corner against him as a receiver was also a challenge. And then I also remember, I'm having a hard time remembering his name, but St. Helena had a receiver. I want to say Roderick Lee or something like that.
Okay.
I don't even know what happened to him, but he was a handful to cover. But I will say, going against Clayton and Raymond Mason in high school at the time kind of prepared you for that. College, there were a couple guys at Kentucky and Cincinnati, that were that were animals. There's a guy, a linebacker at Boise State that we played against, Andy Avalos, who's actually their head coach now at Boise State.
The blue field.
Yeah, on the blue field. We played them in a bowl game, and he had a pick six against me in the Liberty Bowl for 90-something yards. And, he was a heck of a player, great leader, and now he's the head coach at Boise State, so that's pretty cool to see.
Right.
And then in Carolina, I would say not having really played in any games, preseason games, but in practice being the scout team quarterback, you know, good linebackers. Dan Morgan was a linebacker. That was a leader for that team. But Julius Peppers, the first time you see him, I mean, just how imposing he is physically, but how fast he moves too. So you're used to kind of me relying on my speed to get away from some of those D linemen, but he was a guy you couldn't get away from too much.
Just so people know about Julius Peppers, if you don't know Julius Peppers, he's 6'7", about 7 foot in length. Could run 4.5.
Played basketball at North Carolina.
275 pounds.
Dude was a freak athlete.
As fast as you.
Yeah. And he was so long that you think you maybe can get away, and he's right there grabbing your jersey. And to me, he's a Hall of Famer. I think he should be one for sure here in the near future. But he's had a long career, man. Great guy too. Just quiet, goes about his business, but he's definitely a freak.
Glad you got into coaching. Glad that you came back from Kentucky when you finished at Louisville.
Oh, absolutely.
And the tradition here is great. Lyle Hitt, Derry Beckwith, Drew Dillio,
Brad Wing.
I mean, there's been so many great players come out here. Tanner Jenkins was a great center. A lot of great O-linemen, a lot of linebackers. A lot of guys in coaching right now. Anthony Camp played here as a college coach. I think
he's at Central
coach,
now.
The head coach at West Feliciana went here. Devin Ducote. I mean, there's a lot of tradition.
Ties and connections. Here for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. No, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Stefan Leflors, the head football coach at Parkview Baptist. They're having a great year, and we'll be right back. We've got a couple more coaches to interview really quick. We'll be right back.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.